Hello friends, welcome back to English Wala. In this video, I am going to discuss different silent letters in English words. I have already discussed the letters from A to F, and now it's the time for the letters from G to P. I will discuss the words where all these letters are not pronounced. So, it is important for knowing the actual pronunciation of words, and it will also help you in making the correct spellings. So, please lend me your eyes and ears along with your mind. Video number 33, silent letters from G to P. Now let's proceed. Where G is silent, let us see the words where G is silent. We don't pronounce G if a word begins with GN. If a word begins with GN, we generally don't pronounce G. There are many words that begin with GN. For example, gnome, Gnome, but the pronunciation is gnome. Gnat, Gnat, G is silent, Gnat. Gnaw, here also G is silent. Gnarl, G is silent. Nomon, G is silent. And nash. In these words, while pronouncing these words, you should pretend that there is no G. You just pretend that and pronounce the words, and you will be able to pronounce these words correctly. Now, G is, second rule, G is usually silent if a word ends in GN. So, if a word begins with GN, G is not pronounced. Again, if a word ends in GN, G is not pronounced. There are so many words like campaign, G is not pronounced. Desin, G is not pronounced. Forein, G is not pronounced. Rein, G is not pronounced. Sign, the short form of signature. Sign, G is not pronounced. Champane or sapang, champagne, G is not pronounced. And malign, G is not pronounced. So, here we get two rules. If a word begins with GN, G is not pronounced. Again, if a word ends with GN, G is not pronounced. G remains silent. Next one, the combination of GH is usually silent after a vowel sound. When there is GH after a vowel sound, you must know the difference between vowel and vowel sound. That means there may be a vowel, but always that doesn't mean that the presence of the vowel gives the vowel sound. It is vowel sound. So, after a vowel sound, if there is GH, the entire combination remains silent. For example, daughter, night, thought, though, through, way. So, in all these words, we find the GH after the vowel sound, and so GH remains silent. The entire combination GH. So, it is another rule. Now, well, let us see where H is silent. And it is very important, particularly for the second language learners, that means who are not the native speakers, particularly the Bengali speakers. We have a gha sound, gha, go, kho, go, gha. But in English, there is no gha sound. So, we generally pronounce GHOST, for example, as ghost. But it's not ghost. Here, H remains silent. So, if a word, so the first rule for where H is silent is if a word begins with GH, the H is silent. If a word, I repeat, begins with GH, the H remains silent. So, it's Gherkin, Ghetto, ghost, Ghastly, Ghoul. So, H remains silent. For the Bengali speakers, it is very important. So, there shouldn't be any gha sound as H remains silent. Now, second rule for H, if a word begins with RH, H is silent. There are some words, words which we use in our day-to-day vocabulary of such kind, but there are so many medical and scientific words in which in the beginning we find RH and H is not pronounced. For example, in our day-to-day words, for the common words, Rhinoceros, rhythm, rhetorical, Rein, Rhapsodize or rhapsody. So, here H is silent. Again, there are also many medical and scientific words beginning with RH. For example, rheumatic, rhinoplasty. Rhinovirus. So there are so many medical terms and scientific terms where we find RH in the beginning and H remains silent. So what is the rule? The rule is if a word begins with RH, H remains silent. Now, if a word starts with WH, some speakers generally, quote unquote, some speakers generally do not pronounce H. But there are some native speakers in different parts of England. They use both W and H, they pronounce, but in most of the cases it is not pronounced, H is not pronounced. For example, well, again somebody pronounces well, it's well. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? When did he come? When did he come? When? White. It's a white tee. It's a white tee. White t-shirt. Mine is a white t-shirt. Why? Why did you go there? But remember one thing, that in different parts of England or different native speakers pronounce ho, that means pronounce H. Next one, H is sometimes silent after C. So it gives the CH, the combination, gives the caw sound. And as it gives the caw sound, C itself can give caw sound, so H is silent. For example, chemistry, mechanic, school, stomach. So here, ho, H is silent. Now, CH is more often pronounced chaw. CH is more often pronounced chaw. For example, chair, chop, chest. There are so many words. There are lots and lots of words with CH as giving the sound of chaw. Again, sometimes CH is pronounced as shaw. Shaw, and that is like in the words ship, chauvinism, chauffeur, and champagne. So in all these words, CH, the combination, gives the sound of shaw. Now next one, there are a few words that start with silent H. There are a few words, not many words, and you know that the vowel sound, though they begin with H, but so far as the sound is concerned, they begin with a vowel sound, so H remains silent. For example, our, I have been working for an hour, air, honor, and honest. Very simple. In all these words, H remains silent. Next one, in some words starting with H, the H remains silent in American pronunciation, but in British pronunciation, H is not silent. For example, very popular word nowadays so far as the medicines are concerned, or all other things, the cosmetic ones, a British generally pronounces herbal, whereas an American pronounces ob or obel. So, in British English it is herb, whereas in American English it is orb. In British English it is herbal, whereas in American it is obel. So, in American English, ho is silent. Again, in some parts of England, particularly in East London, we find that sometimes ho sound, that is H, is silent. For example, a boy says, I ate school. I ate school. Actually, he wants to say, I hate school. So, where H should be silent, it depends on different dialects. Different parts of England, in different parts of England, by different native speakers, sometimes H is not pronounced. Again, in American English, H is not pronounced in these words. Next, let us see where I, J and K are silent. We generally pronounce I at any position in any word. Obviously, it's a good news, because where there is I, you must pronounce that. There is no exception, only in the word business. The exception is the word business. It's not busyness. He runs a business. He's in a business. So, except in this word, in almost all the words, I is pronounced at any position of the word. So, certainly it's a good news, because you are to remember that I is generally pronounced everywhere. Now, J. J is never silent. So, in each and every word where there is J, we must pronounce it. Now, K is silent before the letter N. At the beginning of a word, if there is the combination of KN at the beginning of a word, then K remains silent. Very simple words, you all know these words, like knee, it's not K-knee or knee. Neat, knife, night for the medieval warriors, night, knot of the tie or knot, gnome, and I'm sure you all know these words. So, K remains silent when it is used in the beginning of a word with N. That means when it is KN, K is silent. Now, where L is silent, unfortunately, there is no rule where L is silent, where L will be silent. Most of the time we pronounce L, we just need to learn the exceptions. So, most of the times L is pronounced, but there are some exceptions and it does not follow any rule. We cannot state any rule where L should be silent. So we have to remember the words. For example, cough, have, come, talk, walk, bum, palm, could, should, would, chalk, and very important one, summon. Summon. It's not salmon. Summon. Again, there is another word that is almond. A-L-M-O-N-D. And whether we should pronounce L or not, it depends on the speaker. Both are correct. One can say almond, almond. Again, one can say almond, almond. However, I prefer saying almond, almond. But if one pronounces almond, it's not a wrong pronunciation. Where M and N are silent. There are not many words with a silent M. There are only a few words with silent M, like mnemonic, and mnemosyne. Mnemosyne. Mnemonic, you know, this word means that sometimes to remember the spellings or to remember a formula or to remember a dynasty, we make a type of formula just to aid the memory. Just to aid the memory, isn't it? For simplification in mathematics, we say Bodmash, B-O-D-M-A-S. It's a mnemonic. Bracket of division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. Even for remembering the different scientific names or for remembering the names in a dynasty, we use this aid. This is mnemonic. Mnemosyne, a Greek goddess, mnemosyne. So, here M is silent. Now, N is not pronounced if it comes after M. N is not pronounced if it comes after M at the end of a word. For example, autumn, autumn. We mustn't pronounce autumn, autumn. No, it's autumn. Column, condemn, damn, hymn, solemn, and limb. Sometimes again we get confused when we pronounce limb. In the case of limb, L-I-M-B, the pronunciation is limb. Again, in the case of L-I-M-N, the pronunciation is the same one, limb. So, in these cases, we do not pronounce N. Now, where P is silent, P is not pronounced if it comes at the beginning of a word before an S. So, P, if there is a P at the beginning of a word, and if after that P S comes, then we will not pronounce P. The words are, for example, psychology, psychiatrist, psychiatrist, psyche. Again, pseudoscience, pseudoscience. So here, P is not pronounced if it is at the beginning of a word and if it is followed by S. Again, P is also silent in front of N and T at the beginning of a word. There are only a few words like these in English. That means if the word begins with P and if it is followed by N or T, there are only a few words of this type. For example, pneumatic, pneumonia, and pterodactyl, a kind of dinosaur, pterodactyl. Next one, there are also a few random words with silent P. It does not follow any rule, but P remains silent. For example, co, it's not co, co. We generally use, this is a very common mistake made by the second language speakers, cupboard. No, it's not cupboard or cupboard, it's cupboard, cupboard. P is silent. Raspberry, raspberry, it's not raspberry, raspberry. And the commonest one that will make a mistake, and it is receipt, not receipt, it's receipt. So, in these cases, P is silent. In my next video, I'll discuss the other silent letters in English words. If my videos prove to be helpful to you, please like it. If you have any word with you like these, you can write in the comment box and subscribe to my channel to get my future videos. Thank you a lot for watching my video.